one game away. Blow up. We're playing for something, man. We're playing for something. Just gotta mean something to you. They gotta mean something. Everything you got. Everything you got. Let's finish this.
Do it, fellas.
Let's go.
Let's do it, fellas.
Finish 2-3. 1, 2, 3.
Finish.
You ready to make history? Come on now. Yeah. You know, there's these two words. And when I say them, people get goosebumps because they know what happens next. So without further ado,
Free smoke.
look. Scared cause I'm drowning in silence with bad thoughts. These days I don't have nothing to say, man, the bag talks. I put in headphones on my driver. Pull up to the spot and give a good dick and Godiva. I can't lie, I'm uninspired. No more pillow talking about nonsense. I only stick around to put some band-aids on my conscience. I don't know why I feel so bad, nigga. That's what we do, no foundation. We don't build no more, we just screw. Half a bottle of Henny, girl, I'm going with the wind. The same niggas say they happy for me, ain't want me to win. So I'm done on my friends. Don't need help popping Coronas and reminiscing. I just call up Big Bro J and say it's time for venting. If I live forever, I hold this hate for some centuries. You don't know how much or how you doing would admit to me, but motherfuck all that. I don't even offer up the time to make the call back. Stupid Lodo, if they don't get the picture now, man, I crop them out of the photo. I can't relate to my peers. Been doing this shit for years. I'm motivated by fears. I took the wheel and I steer. My sound not dictated by fuck boys in Atlanta. Stay gifted like this album was ghost written by Santa. Boss forever like they decided to throw me under slammer. Every song's a hit like they picture me underhanders. I could drop 1,000,000 songs, but they never gon' understand us. Soapbox sermons for niggas never giving chances. Fight our whole lives to get these weak ass advances. Work twice as hard for the shit that they getting handed. And this ain't even nothing we chose, nigga, we branded. Still can't tell why all of these niggas mad at me. I'm trying to get 100 so I can put my team on salary. Give it all to the art, man, I turn my life to a gallery. Man, damn, what a fucked up masterpiece. 1,100 shots and I swear, man, I felt them all. If we ain't even good on our blocks, man, who can we call? Pre-decline state of mind, we broke crabs in the barrel. Got us fighting our folk, man, this shit just a life of peril.
Let me be very clear. I'll never give up. Never.
Yo, every time. Yo, I was on TikTok last night. I was finna tell y'all another story, but then I thought about this one. I was on TikTok last night. And as I was scrolling, I don't understand the algorithm on TikTok, how shit pop up in my feed. It just do, and I watch it. Some shit I don't care for, I scroll right past. Some shit be pretty funny. A lot of depressed people on TikTok. A lot of outwardly depressed people on TikTok. Anyways, these two dudes, like, I guess they do a podcast, bro. They had a lot of hilarious clips, but my thing is that every clip was basically the black dude is, or I guess he black, I don't know. This ain't a race thing. It's just, that's how I define them because I don't know their names. The black dude's a fucking idiot, and the white dude is just blown away by how idiotic and how stupid his homie is. And I'm not gonna lie to you. I am blown away with how stupid he is too. It's almost to the point where I'm thinking to myself, just from all the clips I seen, this gotta be a character. No shot he really this retarded. Oh, I was about to say something. No shot he really this stupid. No shot. It was very entertaining though. But I remember when I used to go to church as a kid, bro, because I couldn't tell you the last time I went to church. I knew it was about to be the end of the preacher preaching every time he started to like say something like, and you know, if you heard this message and it influenced you and you feel like, you know, once he started getting to that little moment where he's starting to talk like that, I'm like, oh yeah, he about to go ahead and wrap this thing up. Then you can too come to the front of the congregation as we sing this song. And then they start singing some shit and then boom, end of the preaching. Then that's when I know we got about 20 minutes, if that, left before it's time to go home and watch some football. But with that being said, let me talk to you for a second. I appreciate you for joining me on another episode of Kicking It With Saint. I am your host, Saint. I appreciate you for being here with me. I really do. You could have been anywhere else in the world, but you chose to be here with me, and I appreciate you for that. Let me talk to you for a second, because there's somebody out there I know who done quit on themselves, and that's I can't have that. You see, I can't condone it. I cannot condone it. Listen. And in this life, what I done learned in my few years on this planet, And I guess few, a lot is subjective to whoever, the number is subjective to whoever you tell the number to. But regardless, in my years on this earth, I done learned a couple things. People gonna give up on you. People gonna quit on you. People gonna fall out of love with you. People gonna fall out of like with you. People won't fuck with you no more. You cannot do that to yourself. All right. People won't believe in you. You cannot quit on yourself. The moment you begin to quit on yourself, stop believing in yourself, stop loving yourself, stop liking yourself. The moment that people basically give you their ass to kiss and you start to become unclean yourself, that's when the downward spiral happens. That's when the mediocrity, settling in the mediocrity happen. That's when being okay with mediocrity happen. That's when the dream chasing stop. That's when you stop dream chasing happening. That's never quit on yourself. I'm not a motivational speaker. I'm nothing like that, but I just seen a couple things in life and I wanted to bring this message to you because I done seen some things a couple times and I know what it's like in this life to not, one of the biggest things I done noticed in life, when you tell somebody that you love them, it can bring you the craziest joy when they reciprocate it. But the moment that person tell you through actions or words that they no longer feel that way about you, I've seen what that does to a person, especially when they are not over that person. I've seen how it can affect the life. I've seen how it can affect the mind. That's why I think it's very important every day to tell people that you love them, regardless of how they take it, to tell them and show them every day. Because you never know how fragile how damaged somebody's mental is at the moment. Which is why I truly believe somebody had texted me while I was talking. That's why that brief little pause happened. My dukes. But that's why I truly believe that it's very important to put out positive vibes in the world. Listen, I tell you all the time, I'm no different than anybody else out there. I done been hurt. I done been backstabbed. I done had people who I love fall out of love with me. I done had people who liked not like me. I done had it all happen. You cannot quit on yourself. You cannot stop loving yourself. You cannot. And like I said before, I get it. This shit gets hard. Life is tough. Take a break when you must. Be to yourself. Listen to some music. Go out and do something just by yourself. But never quit on yourself. Never stop loving yourself. People come and go. It's just that's the way it goes. I done seen people. I'm not even going to use other people. I done myself enjoyed somebody's vibe so much and thought to myself, oh my God, I hope this don't ever end. And just like that, it was over. And I could have let that, and that's done happened over and over. That is life. You cannot let something like that kill your peace. You cannot let something like that kill your progress. I done seen what a broken heart do to people. It can throw somebody all the way off of their rhythm, off of their path. I done seen what the talking stage not going where somebody, because usually I understand one person is more. It's very rare that two people like each other on the same level when you first meet. Usually it's somebody chasing the other person. And I seen what happened when those things don't go the way one person would like it to go. You know what I'm saying? It happens. I get it. But you must continue to go on. You must believe in yourself, in a positive view of your life that it's going to happen for me. I am going to find whatever it is I'm looking for in this life, whether it be love, success. I don't care. Whatever it is you're searching for. But what I'm begging you not to ever do before we get into the show is to quit on yourself. Like I said before, there's a lot of people that's going to quit on you. There's a lot of people that's going to walk out on you. There's a lot of people that's going to stop loving you. That's not going to treat you the way that you feel like you should be treated. But don't ever do that to yourself. Because as long as you have a positive outlook on yourself, as long as you believe heavily in positive things for yourself, you will always be the prize. Never demean yourself to a point where you no longer are the prize. You are still the prize, and it is another prize out there for you. All right. Believe in yourself. Don't quit on yourself. Don't stop loving yourself. I understand what a broken heart is. I understand. I've seen people be in love and that spark died out for one other person. I know what that can do to a person. Take a break as long as you need to, but don't stay down. Get back up, brush yourself off like Skate Man says, and keep going. I don't like it when I see people who done been damaged by something. And I understand there's different type of traumas in this life that can bring us to a pause. But let that be what it is. A pause. Keep going. You got this. Don't quit on yourself. Don't stop believing in yourself. Other people, let them do that. Let those people just be the lessons that you are learning along the way, so that when you get the people in your life who want to be there, you understand how to appreciate them even more, because you know what it's like to have people walk out on you. But the only way you get to that next point is if you never do those things. Don't walk out on yourself. The greatest battle that you have to, in my opinion, that you have to defeat first is the mental one with oneself. Once you understand what you are, what you want in life, then all of these heartbreaks and these failures and all of those things, they'll still hurt. I'm never going to tell you that those things won't hurt. It sucks when you want a woman. I'm speaking from a male perspective. It sucks when you want a woman and you feel like you see everything you could be, and she just tell you, no time for it. Or if she tell you, not interested. I'm interested in somebody else. That can hurt. I'm not telling you don't hurt from it. I'm telling you to learn from it. Don't let that hurt keep you there. Too many times in this life, we quit on ourselves. Once we understand who we are, what we want for ourselves, it's easier to be able to brush ourselves off from that. We are human at the end of the day. I'm not telling you to be. Even Superman cried. Even Superman felt emotion, as did Batman. Even these fictional characters that we hang on walls, put on T-shirts, immortalizing the statues and whatnot. Even they felt. Even they had times where they paused. That's the common thing in all these superhero movies. I'm not really a big fan of superhero movies, but the one thing I understand is because they mostly all the same. I'm not a fan of Marvel, DC type superhero movies, but nonetheless, that's not the point. The point of the matter is most of the things that you see in a superhero movie, at the end of the day, the good guy wins, not because the good guy's supposed to win. That's not the thing, because we see multiple movies. Most of the time, it makes no sense that the good guy ended up winning. It's the mentality. Good conquers evil all the time. But if you quit, if you stop going, then the Avengers Endgame would have been the first Avengers or the second Avengers movie with Thanos. That would have been it. Thanos would have just won. It would have been no second movie where they kept going and ultimately won. So don't quit on yourself. Keep going. Like I said, people come and go. Let them be lessons to help you appreciate the people who stay. Because you will have people that want to be with you and want to be around you and want to help you and want to be in your life in some type of way. You will have that. But if you stop going, you won't find it. You won't find those people. You won't run into those people. All right? Now, enough of me trying to be TD Jakes right here. Let's talk about some things. The Raiders just fired their head coach. They just fired their head coach and they just fired their GM. Could not tell you for the life of me what the GM's name is. I read it a million times and still forgot it when the show came on. And we also have a Thursday night football game, Steelers Titans. Don't care to talk about that game, but it is currently my job in my mind. So we will do that. But I want to talk about this Raiders thing first, because boy, have I talked about the Raiders a lot throughout the past 2 seasons. And for good reason, in my mind. It's a bad organization. Now, I want to just nip something in the bud real quick. All the people out there who keep saying, oh, the Raiders shouldn't have got rid of Derek Carr. The Raiders shouldn't have got rid of Derek Carr. Bro, what were the Raiders? Where were the Raiders going with Derek Carr? Where was Derek Carr taking them? I don't like this thing where people say, oh, Derek Carr didn't have help. They shouldn't have got rid of him. But then when he was there, I wasn't hearing none of this. You was criticizing. Like, you can't have it both ways, bro. And I notice you do that a lot for the white quarterbacks, but it's very weird when you do it for the ones who are not even that great. Derek Carr had weapons when he was in Oakland/Vegas. Derek Carr did not play on a Raiders team that was just void of talent all his years there. That's why people start nitpicking every little aspect of the team. The first flaw we can find in the team, that's what we're going to say is why Derek Carr didn't win. Even though we hold others to a higher expectation, regardless of what's going on around them. But for Derek Carr, people keep making up excuses as to why he didn't live up to what I guess people thought he was supposed to be in Oakland/Vegas. Regardless, Vegas was losing with Derek Carr. Now they losing without him. They don't need Derek Carr. They should not have kept him. They actually should have got rid of him at the peak of his value probably 2-3 years ago. But they chose not to do that. What's done is done. Derek Carr, in my opinion, does not equate into this equation whatsoever. 2-3 years ago, maybe. Now, no. Oh, they lost him for nothing. Does not matter. That would have mattered 2-3 years ago. A year ago. I don't even think it mattered a year ago. Does not matter. Derek Carr's value is not what y'all keep thinking his value was, bro. Plain and simple. Maybe I'm wrong. I will just be wrong because it's just no shot to me. Now, moving on from that. My next problem. The people who keep saying, oh, they should have rehired Bisaccia. Bro, how do you know that? That was just a random season, bro. That is not going to be one of my points either. I don't know if they should have hired Rich Bisaccia. I don't even know how people keep saying that. I don't know what evidence you have to say that that's who they should have hired. Mind you, he specializes in special teams, I believe. I would not go to bat for somebody like that because I'm clearly on the bandwagon of hire an offensive young guru. He don't fit that description. So I would have never hopped on that bandwagon anyway. So that point, those 2 points, the Bisaccia and the Derek Carr, yeah, I don't care for either of those points. I don't think those are valid points at this point. So I don't care. I don't care about them at all. So I'm not going to even be bringing them up, to be honest with you. If I bring up Derek Carr, it's not going to be because they got rid of him. It's probably a reason as to another reason why they're a bad organization, but it's going to be including Derek Carr, not because, oh, they got rid of him. Like, to me, those 2 points I done heard is ridiculous. Now, moving on. My things with the Vikings. I'm looking at a thing where they're talking about Josh Dobbs to the Vikings, but my thing with the Raiders, bad organization, like I said a million times. Somebody should have been fired after that trade deadline hit, and neither of these 3 players were traded. Max Crosby, Devontae Adams, Josh Jacobs. When none of those 3 players were traded yesterday, in my mind, I said, somebody got to get fired. It's no way. Like, maybe the way I see the Raiders is not how everybody see the Raiders. I'm cool with that. But I would play, if you watching my recording got cut in the middle of that sentence. But if you are watching this channel, I implore you, listen, if you're watching this show right now, go watch past shows. Talk to somebody in the comments who watch the shows. Most of the shit I be saying is right. I'm not even one of those people who like, oh, I told you so, unless it's on certain type of things. People who watch the show can tell you. A lot of the shit Saint be saying is more accurate than the shit they tell you on TV. I told my viewers all through the offseason, the Giants would suck this season. Well, what prize am I winning for being going around telling everybody, oh, I was right? It's not me. It's not about being right. I just watched this shit. So I knew the Giants would suck. I told my viewers at the end of the playoff game that they lost, the Giants will probably be one of the worst teams in the NFL last year. I can see this being the one playoff team out of every playoff team that is absolutely garbage going into the next season. It's crazy what happened when you just watch games. So I'm just telling my viewers right now, what I'm saying, you don't have to agree with. You don't have to view the Raiders how I view the Raiders. But what I'm telling you right now is I don't view them from some biased, jackass type of perspective. I watch these games. I feel like I know what I'm talking about. All right. My problem with the Raiders after they did not get rid of any of those 3 players through trade. What do you do now to get better? Because who is signing with y'all? And who could you possibly, you can't even sign enough players in the offseason that's talented enough to change the trajectory of your team, especially when you don't have a quarterback. And I read a report today that Jimmy Garoppolo is about to be benched for the backup quarterback who's a rookie, I believe, and I can't remember his name either. But don't worry, one day we're going to have producers and they're going to be in my ear feeding me all this information that I forget. But when it comes to the them not trading away any of those pieces, and you look at the situation you're in, who could you possibly sign? Because Pat Mahomes is not about to become available. Lamar Jackson, nobody seemed to wanted to trade for last year. Jalen Hurts not becoming available. Those the best 3 quarterbacks in the NFL playing right now. Dak Prescott, Joe Burrow, Josh Allen. I don't see them becoming available no time soon. Those are the best quarterbacks in the NFL. They aren't becoming available, changing it. Those are the type of players that are changing the trajectory of your team. They're not becoming available. I don't see you trading for Fred Warner anytime soon. I don't see you trading for a Roquan Smith anytime soon. I don't see you trading for the type of players that would immediately impact the team if you had other things in place already. What the Raiders have on their hands is exactly to me what the Rams have. We just don't go at the Rams because they don't want a Super Bowl and they better run organization than the Raiders. But they don't even have the type of trade assets at the moment that the Raiders have. I mean, they do, but their assets is not like Cooper Kupp right now is not a trade asset, in my opinion. I understand some people go out and say, well, you got Puka Nacua, so why don't you trade Cooper Kupp? Because Puka Nacua is not better than Cooper Kupp. You don't confuse greatness with a quarterback who just force feeds you the ball every game. All right, that's one. However, the Raiders not like, bro, look at the Raiders roster right now, okay? Look at their roster and tell me where the fuck do they go from here after they choose not to trade. And this is my problem. And this is why I say it every show at this point. When you have a team that is going absolutely nowhere, you're not bad enough to be one of the worst teams. You're not good enough to be one of the best teams, even though the Raiders are bad enough to be one of the worst teams. They just ain't bad enough right now to get that top pick in the draft at the moment because they want to win and they have players who want to win. And that's the problem. But when you have a team like this that's going nowhere, and you have an asset on your team like a Max Crosby in his prime, why are you holding him hostage? Why? And I understand the people who are going to immediately go to Devontae, but Devontae is not the best asset on this team right now. It is by far Max Crosby. Max Crosby is young, a premium pass rusher. Bro, you think, and I think also that Chase Young is going to be great opposite of of Nick Bosa, right? Imagine what Max Crosby would be. And this is a dude who not coming off an injury, who got the numbers to back up over his last couple years. We're not hoping that he get back to playing a certain type of way like we is with Chase. He is currently dominating when he step onto the field, and they chose not to trade him. See, players like that only are franchise cornerstones when you have a good enough roster on a year-to-year basis, when you are a great ran franchise where you can keep a Ray Lewis on your team for that many years, where you can keep a Ed Reed on your team for that many years, where you can keep a Terrell Suggs on your team for that many years, because you have a good enough roster around them on a year-to-year basis. You run a good enough organization on a year-to-year basis where you can keep that type of talent and they can continuously help you be a good enough, great team, because you have the things other in place. It's not because you just have them and nobody else. Because if the Ravens only had Ray, he would have not have retired a Raven. Because a team is not going to remain in the middle of nowhere, going nowhere anytime soon with a stud on their team who they could trade away for assets to get back to being great. That is exactly what the Raiders chose to do. And to make it worse is the fact that they have 2 assets on top of just having one. They have 2 assets that could, Devontae is not getting you no less than a 2nd round pick. Let's be honest. Devontae Adams is probably going for a 1st, but it's no shot you get him for less than a 2nd. And maybe it's a GM out there that's swaggy enough to get him for a 3rd. But it's no shot that you didn't get great assets off of a Devontae Adams. And you held on to him too. With him being as disgruntled as he is, coming in toxifying the locker room, not his fault. He want to win. Now, granted, it is kind of his fault because he chose to be there. But at the end of the day, he want to win. He can't help hating losing. I get it. Now, obviously, you want your captains to perform to be better than that, but losing is not fun. He is accustomed to playing a certain type of way, to winning a certain amount of games every year, to having an opportunity to compete for a certain type of prize at the end of the season. Again, which is why I don't understand why he chose to go to the Raiders, but that is not here. That is neither here nor there. At the end of the day, it just makes no sense to have kept those two assets. And you could have traded away Josh Jacobs also. But to keep Max and Devontae on a team that is going absolutely nowhere just makes no sense. Because what's the shot that you get them for max value in the offseason? Because a Super Bowl contender right now would have gave you max value for Max Crosby. Or probably for Devontae also. Especially if they felt like that got them over the hump. I could see a Chiefs team throwing away a first-round pick right now to try to get Devontae. I can see teams right now throwing away first and second round picks to bring those two dudes in and try to make it get over the hump and try to re-sign them at the end of the season. And I think one of them is already on a loan contract, Devontae. I'm not sure what Max Crosby's contract is right now. But I just don't get it. So what you have right now is a team that's not good, going nowhere fast, and also, when given an opportunity to help their future, they chose not to. How does that make any sense? This is in baseball terms. If I had a hitter on my team, an aging veteran, who only probably got 3 great years left in him, hitting 300, 20 plus homers, a stud. But my farm system kind of weak. My team is trash. He is the best trade asset on my team to help my team get from average to and bad to being able to compete in the future. And when the trade deadline come up, there's multiple teams out there that's saying to you right now, yo, we want this dude. We will give you great assets for this player because we believe he can get us over the hump right now. We don't care about our farm system. We are trying to compete to win a World Series in the next 1 this year and the next 3. We believe that he can give us what we need for those next couple years. We willing to make the trade right now. And they say, nah, we good. We want to keep him. What? Bro, you doomed the player and the organization. And that is exactly what the Raiders, in my opinion, are doing. And I know we would like to say, oh, well, that's on Josh McDaniels and the GM. Bro, that's on the owner, too, because he hired both of them. And before that, he hired John Gruden. So at some point in time, bro, maybe they need to just start going outside the stadium chanting, sell the team, even though I don't know if that's going to work. But this is just franchise malpractice at this point. I cannot wrap my head around how they did not trade Max Crosby over these past 2 years. I can't. I really can't. Maybe last year you had an excuse, but I thought they would have traded him at the end of the season. This year I thought he was definitely going to be traded before the break before the deadline, because I'm like, yo, this just make too much sense. And they just want to keep saying they have Max Crosby. And like I say every time I talk about Max, I pray he can continue to ball out until he is moved to a contender. Because I done seen too many great players' careers die out, and that spark just die out because they play for fucking losers, perennial losers. And that is what's happening right now with Max Crosby. And he ain't never really played for a good Raiders team, so he ain't acting the way Devontae acting. Devontae only done played for good teams, basically, with the Packers. And I just don't see, as a franchise, what do you gain holding on to Devontae? Like, sure, you could say you drafted Max Crosby or whatever. We don't want to get rid of a guy who we drafted, blah, blah, blah. What do you gain from holding on to Devontae? I just don't get it. I do not get it. So that's my first thing. Next is, I told y'all when Josh McDaniels was hired that he would not take too long to be fired. Because why in God's name was he the dude who got this job? Like I said, not arguing for Rich Bisaccia, but I never thought Josh McDaniels should have got this job. Don't care for the GMs. The GMs they come, you don't know they good until they show you they good. So I could care less about that. What I do know is Josh McDaniels is crazy to me. And I say this every time I talk about Josh McDaniels. It's crazy to me how Eric Bieniemy gets no credit for what he did in Kansas City. But in New England, Josh McDaniels' Super Bowls was with Tom fucking Brady. And he done got multiple coaching opportunities. He chose to turn down the Colts when after he told them he was going to take the job. And then he get this one like 2 years later. What are we doing? Like, this is what I'm saying when I hate it when white dudes be like, oh, you always got to bring race into it. Well, you tell me how the fuck Eric Bieniemy is still a OC and had to go dumb down. He had to go play with lesser talent because I promise you Kansas City look way better right now if they had Eric Bieniemy over there. That's something that a lot of people ain't talking about, how Kansas City's offense look without EB. But nonetheless, he got Sam Howell over there looking decent every other week, throwing for a lot of yards and whatnot. But sure, overlooked Coach Ron Rivera. I saw people blaming Eric. Like, bro, nonetheless, Tom Brady, the GOAT, is who Josh McDaniels had as a quarterback. Not to mention, because everybody like, oh, Andy Reid. Bro, Bill Belichick, what, people wasn't just walking around calling him the GOAT a couple years ago? But Josh McDaniels was looked at as a great coaching candidate. We saw how he flamed out in Denver, but he was looked at as a good coaching candidate. But Eric Bieniemy not. That's the type of shit that don't make no type of sense to me in my head. But you get what you pay for. I've been running around screaming that Josh McDaniels not a good head coach. You could clearly see that. And his coaching game plan on offense is not sophisticated at all, in my opinion. Tom Brady ran that show. That offense was decent for Mac Jones in his first year. I get you. What has that offense done since he been in Oakland? I mean, in Vegas. What did the offense do without Brady? It wasn't a great offense without Brady. See, you like to tell me other dudes who only successful because of one dude, but Josh McDaniels done kept getting flowers thrown at him, and he done had arguably the two greatest at they crafts. Makes no sense. And when he didn't have them, every time he don't have them two, these are the results. So if the Raiders want to ever choose to, and then of course the interim head coach now a black man, because a black man always got to be hired to clean up a white man's bullshit. It's crazy. Somebody just got mad as hell. But listen, the only way I see the Raiders moving forward and getting this team back to being a good organization or a team that can contend, obviously you can't trade them now. So in the offseason, if they don't trade Devontae Adams in the offseason, bro, it'll just make no sense. And like I said before, Max Crosby not being traded to another fucking team just makes no sense. Not even to another team, to another contender. And I understand if somebody would say, well, we don't want to trade him to a contender because they draft late in the draft. Bro, it is teams that could get over the hump with a Max Crosby that are not drafting that high in the draft or probably have multiple draft picks who they could have traded him to the Seahawks, bro. The Seahawks was sitting on a gold mine. Hell, the way the Bears putting together their team, if the Bears had a quarterback, they could make a trade with the Bears for one of them first picks in the draft, for one of them first round picks. Do you know what this dude could get you? I don't get it. I just simply don't get it. But let's talk about Thursday Night Football. I don't understand for the millionth time why we call these primetime games. Because don't nobody want to see the Titans of this year or the fucking Steelers of this year in a primetime spot. Nobody wants to see it. But here we are. I'm going to watch this game, obviously. Don't know how much of this game I'm going to watch, but I'm definitely going to watch this game. Listen. Steelers defense. You know what? This is Will Levis playing. So I actually am more invested in this game. I just realized that. Tannehill's not even playing in this game. So I actually am invested. I'm interested to see what Will Levis do from start to finish now because he know he going to be the starter going into this game. He going up against a good Pittsburgh defense. Pittsburgh is pretty good against the rookie quarterbacks. I can't even remember what that stat was about how good they play against rookie quarterbacks, but this ain't that same Pittsburgh team. I think that they secondary get toasted on a weekly basis, especially Patrick Peterson. I don't know how in God's name he's still got a starting job in the NFL, but shout out to him. Even Porter done been burnt at times this season, but I would go with him over because they kind of play him like rotational. I probably would go with him more than I would go with anybody at this fucking point over Patrick Peterson. It felt like he get burnt on a weekly basis, like multiple times a game. I just can't do it with Pat no more. He clearly should not be playing cornerback, not starting cornerback no more. He need to move to safety or something. But obviously TJ Watt can wreck a game. This is one of them games where a rookie might try to hold on to the ball too long to try to make a big play down the field, and TJ Watt get that strip sack that he's so known for. He is truly him and Myles Garrett, man. They like the new Terrell Suggs of the division, bro. Sucks that the Ravens should have another Terrell Suggs of the division, and we don't. We got Oweh out there running cardio on a weekly basis, but nonetheless, I am interested in this game. I want the Titans to win. I'm gonna tell you that up front. I want the Titans to win because fuck the Steelers, obviously. But if this game want to go to a draw, matter of fact, I'm done with that draw shit. That drawing, that don't do nothing for my soul the last couple years when teams done had draws. So I'm actually I'd rather it just be a dub or a L. I'm done saying they can both end in a draw for all I care. Nah, somebody gonna lose this bitch. All right. I get it affect my team when one of you motherfuckers lose. All right. The only time something shouldn't matter to me is when a team win and they is in the NFC. That have nothing to do with Baltimore. But losing, now both of these teams gonna have something to do win or lose. But listen, the Titans winning at this moment ain't got shit to do with Baltimore. Two teams ain't getting out of that division. All right. So if at the worst Baltimore got to worry about a wild card, they gonna get it over one of them two teams in that division. Plus the Jags got that. But the Steelers losing would just make my night. Obviously. Because I don't fuck with the Steelers. Respect them. Don't fuck with them. Now, I'm wondering, is Mitchell Trubisky going to also be starting this game? If you're a Steelers fan and you didn't know Mitchell Trubisky is starting this game or playing in this game, then clearly you're not a Steelers fan because clearly you should have known that. But it is my job to remind you, Mitchell Trubisky is playing in this game. Not Kenny Pickett. And George Pickens had a nice little touchdown last week. I saw where he kind of stepped over the dudes or like jumped over. It was a nice little thing to get through that little double tackle shit right there and score. But yeah, the Steelers offense still sucks. And they're lucky enough, even though the Titans did have the game they had last week, up to this point, the Titans offense done really been ass also. So let's just pray tomorrow that this game is not filled with turnovers and bad plays and no scoring, unless it's on just one side and the other team is actually scoring from it. Okay? Because like I said before, what's the point of having 9 sacks if Ryan Tannehill go out there and still throw the fucking game away? You know what I'm saying? But with that being said, because I got to go take my mama her walker, I appreciate you for joining me on another episode of Kicking It with Saint. Tell somebody you fuck with them. Tell somebody you love them. You could be anything in the world. Choose to be kind to somebody today. Don't quit on yourself. Don't stop loving yourself. All right? You got this. Keep going. Like, subscribe, share. Please, come on. We stuck at 31 subscribers right now. Let's try to push that bit to 40, all right? Come on. That's the new goal. Let's try to get that thing to 40 before the end of the November. With that being said, I fuck with you. I love you. Some people don't hear that enough. Some people don't hear it at all. That's why I'm so adamant about y'all telling people that. But I need to tell y'all that more. I love you. I truly do. Especially if you made it to this point in the video. You made it to this point in the video. Listen to me. I love the fuck out of you. All right? Saint out.
I got the moves like hot sauce. Lil' mama taking the top off. I'm laying down getting topped off. After this, she know she getting knocked off. I know she loving the money, so I keep on thumbing and thumbing. She say she horny when she's taking shots, so I keep them coming and coming. Now I'm putting dick in her tummy, scoop her up like I'm raking her something. You would think shawty ran track, the way that she running and running. You getting dumber and dumber, you out here chasing the bone. After she finished from giving me dome, the Uber is taking her home. Tight.